Okay, so my name is Jacqueline Capel. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the director of the Honors College. I attended PACE and the Honors College when I was a student a little over a decade ago. I was in the School of Education, so I was teaching adolescents history. That was my major. And I currently teach history. I teach for Seidenberg, so in the computer science school as well. And I do a University 101 course, which is like intro to university life. I'm going to pass it to Bill.
Hi there, I'm Bill Offit. You should say right now, even though I won't hear you, hi, Bill, because I only like to be called Bill, not professor or doctor or mister. I'm simply Bill. I've been at PACE for 30 years. I am an early American historian. I teach in honors this semester in a program called Reacting to the Past, wherein students have been plopped down in the American Revolution or the 1840s. And on Wednesday, they will decide the fate of John Brown in full immersion simulations. I have been with the Honors College since 2001. I was director when Jackie was the student she just described, and I have now become one of the honors advisors and in charge of honors courses. And I'll pass it to the other faculty advisor, Anna Shastya.
Thank you, Bill. So my name is Professor Shostya, and I have been at Pace University only for 20 years. And I've been teaching economics this 20 years, and I am notoriously known for converting students into economics. And I am also a faculty advisor, and I am an unofficial honors photographer, I guess. I teach even a class of economic issues through photographer's lens, and this is actually one of my photos. And I'm going to pass this to Mohini.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mohini Gobin. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm one of the honors advisors and the mentoring coordinator. I'm also a very proud alumna of the Honors College, and I graduated in 2018. My degree is in biology with minors in neuroscience and psychology, and I'm currently doing my master's at PACE in mental health counseling. Besides that, I also teach University 101, but my sections are more for like science students and pre-meds, and then also for psychology and some mixed Dyson students. So now I'm going to pass it to Victor.
So hey y'all, my name is Victor. I'm one of the student aides here for the Honors College. I'm a public accounting major with a minor in business analytics, and I am in my 4th year of my 5-year program for my BBA MBA. And I'm going to pass it to Serial.
Hi everybody, my name is Serial. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a psychology major. I'm a senior, currently in my last year. I am double minoring in women gender studies and sociology and anthropology, and I'm also a student assistant alongside Victor and Gab, who I'll throw to next.
Hi, my name is Gab. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I am a sophomore studying adolescent education and a minor in psychology. I am also a student assistant for the Honors College, and I'm a resident assistant in 182 Broadway, which is one of the first year communities. And I'll talk some more about my experience later.
All right, so the picture you're seeing on the screen is from our welcome week last year, and this is this was our freshman class and all of the amazing mentors as well. And so you get to see a little bit of our honors community. Bill, you want to start us off?
Okay, well, go back to the picture for a minute. Okay. We have, I have the distinct honor and privilege of having paid for my 2 children to have gone through college. And in looking for colleges, I'm talking to the seniors plus their parents here, you have probably been to a number of different college events, maybe some in person before the COVID thing hit, maybe some like this one. In my searching for colleges for my son and my daughter, I went to at least 25 different college performances like this at big schools, small schools, public schools, private schools, schools in the Northwest, in California, in the Midwest, in the Northeast, in the South, even in England. And after a while, they all started to sound the same. They all promised pretty much close personal attention, even large state universities. They all promised you wonderful educations and stimulating social lives and on and on. But I looked at all those 25 or so and I said, we have some things that they don't have. And so I want to start with that. The first thing is we have cartoons. Show the cartoon now. And I hope you can see this. Please blow it up. This is from a cartoonist in the 1980s who was completely unknown named Matt Groening. Some of you may recognize him now as from The Simpsons. He is the founder of that. But he did a series of cartoons. And so this is how to get into the college of your choice. You are here. And if you look at the center panel, you may see a bunch of little rabbits looking extremely worried and anxious. And then, why go to college and what you have to do and all these wonderful things. The point here is not to tell you how to get into the college of your choice. We hope that's PACE, but it may not be. The point is to tell you the first and foremost, we have a different attitude toward college than all these other places. And part of that attitude is what matters is your interests, your abilities, your talents, and our attitude to be quirky, to be whimsical, and to make you into a different person than you are now. At the end of 4 years, both from the courses and academics I'll talk about and the other things everybody else will talk about, you should become a completely different person. If you do not become a completely different person in 4 years, you should ask for your money back. You're not going to get it back, but you should at least ask for it back because you will have missed what we do. So that's the first way we are different. The second way is what I call partnership. That is, you and I, this is why I ask you to call me Bill, because partners do not call each other by titles. We call each other by first names. And you will have the choices. It is what you want to do, how you want to build your life, how we can help that. That is the basis of our partnership. One of the things about being partners that I don't think you have in high school, if it's anything like my kids' high school in suburban New Jersey here, is that you did not get to choose your professors. You did not get to choose your class. Maybe you got to choose which language to do, or maybe you had an elective or two, but basically it was all laid out for you, and you could choose AP or regular, but you didn't really have a choice of teachers. As a service to all of you, I am giving you, whether you come to PACE or not, Matt Groening's take on the 9 different types of college professors. You can read this over. I hope you can all see. It's a little small in type. But according to him, there are 9 different types of college professors. In high school, I would talk to my kids after the first day, and they would say, I would ask them, how was school? And they would say, well, it'll get better. It never gets better. I give you this piece of advice. You will decide within the first 5 minutes, whether you like the professor. You will decide within the first hour whether you like what the professor teaches you, what subject it is, and how he or she will go about it. If at the end of 1 hour, whether at PACE or someplace else, you don't like the professor and you don't like the subject, move, change, get out of there. And so, as to help encourage you on making choices of professors, I want you to select which one of these professor types you think I am. Remember, I'm an American historian. I teach with a pedagogy called Reacting to the Past. I teach for honors. I'm also an advisor. I teach University 101. Do not pick the disdainful teaching assistant, but am I a steady droner? Am I a mighty famous big shot? Am I a beloved babbling grandpa, a genius from another dimension, old gloom and doom, single theory to explain everything maniac, or incomprehensible but brilliant foreigner? Please choose.
So I'm going to end polling. We've got about 50 responses
Yeah,
in.
that's
I will
good.
share the
I
results.
am a single theory to explain everything maniac. I am not a beloved babbling grandpa, despite my beard color. So the important thing to note about choosing professors in college is that you will also get to choose the academic path you take through the Honors College. Honors offers you courses. Every semester, a different menu of courses. For those of you who chose single theory to explain everything maniac, we will award you an honorary diploma on your way out. Be sure to pick it up from Jackie. I'm sure you will be able to reach through the screen and get it from her. Honors every semester works for every single type of major, whatever your program of academics that you are following. We want you to take at least one honors course per semester. We try to make not more work, but different work for you, better work, more innovative work, so that we have you engaged in things of social value and meaning today that engage you in active ways like this seminar, that do things for you that you would have never seen in high school, such as reacting to the past, such as and one of the student aides will talk about this, our living learning community called Classical Civilization. Every semester, different stuff. Next semester, for instance, computers and the surveillance society, or how you actually have no privacy anymore. And you've learned to love it. So from that point of view, every semester we give you choices to choose one or more honors courses, the rest of your curriculum being with your regular student body. So you are not isolated within honors, but every semester you are with honors. The rest of your life, I want to now turn over to Jackie, who will tell you more outside of academics what honors can give you.
So, as I mentioned, I'm an alumna of the Honors College. And for me, I felt that honors was family, it was home. As Bill mentioned, he was the honors director when I was a student. And I felt very welcome and that he knew who I was from the moment I stepped through the door at an event like this, just in person. And that meant a lot to me. I was coming from a small high school. And so that feeling hasn't changed over the years. It's the most important thing to all of us on this call. And you're hearing from, alumni and students and faculty. You're not hearing from our whole student body, but we did want to incorporate their voices by asking them what words come to mind when you think of the Honors College. And that's what I want to share with you all right now. So we asked them, and as you can see in the heart, there are the words that came to mind when they described honors. And just like the word cloud we saw in Kahoot, where the answers, if you give it multiple times, the answers appear larger. And that's the case here too. And you can see that loving, friendship, helpful, family, home, these are some of the main words in this word cloud because it means the most to our students. We are not just here for our students for 4 years, we're here for them for the rest of their lives. We've gone to weddings and graduations and baby showers, and post-COVID, we hope to go to a lot more. I know my Facebook memories yesterday were a couple students, I think before Mohini's time, hanging out in the office and just joking, and I shared that and how much I miss them, and they all kind of jumped in and talked about how we need to have a Zoom hangout and things like that. And that's what it is we don't lose touch after kind of all of these years, and we're still in each other's lives supporting, writing recommendations, and kind of being cheerleaders for our students, and then as they become alumni. And that's what I love, and that's what you're going to kind of join. And I think that's now more important than anything as we're in this kind of period of COVID, is having each other. And you'll also see fun. We do a lot of weird and crazy things. As Bill kind of described, we're quirky. We have a lot of events, which Mohini and some of our students are gonna talk about later. And that's what we love. But you also see food. We eat a lot together. Pace Giving would be coming up right about now when we share Thanksgiving together. but you also see mentoring. And Mohini's going to talk about the mentoring experience as the coordinator and a student who participated in it.
So I don't know about you all, but when I was going into college, I was quite afraid, quite nervous for everything because this was going to be a brand new experience. But thankfully, by being a part of the Honors College, you get an honors mentor. The summer, like you deposit in May, and in June, you get an honors mentor, so very short time period, to help you with that adjustment. And for myself, that was very crucial. I was a biology student, pre-med, knew that I had to get some type of like research experience, get in the lab, get my things going so that way I could be, competitive for applications later on. And so my honors mentor reached out, and he was also a science student, and we were talking about the different opportunities and so forth. So he knew what I wanted to get. But I was also able to ask him questions about New York City and living in the dorms and things I should bring. I'm from Long Island, but that being said, I only probably came into like Midtown to go to Broadway shows and like didn't really know much about the city. And so I was like, please give me as much information as you can so I feel as prepared as I could be. So my mentor did that. And thankfully, during the first week of school, he called me and was like, hey, do you want to go get some ice cream on Fulton Street? I have an experience I want to share to you. And so we talked about volunteering in the animal lab at Haskins. And at first, I was really nervous because if anyone knows me, I am very scared of animals. And so I was like, volunteering in a lab, what? But like Bill says, if you don't change as a person in college, ask for your money back. I would say I definitely have changed because since I have been able to be with animals and kind of have that, out of the comfort zone experience. So I started volunteering for the animal lab, and my mentor was like, you might have to change your schedule. So I went to Bill, and Bill was like, super easy. You don't have to stay in the class that you're in. You have the flexibility. That's the whole good thing about being a college student. And so I changed my schedule and started volunteering, and volunteered for about 3 semesters until I was like, it's time for me to go. When I said that, they weren't happy, and they were like, we really like your work ethic and we want you to stay. To add to that, I was a part of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant and project. I was able to do my thesis because of this entire experience. And so that's the type of environment or the type of feel that our honors mentors have for each other. I was able to pass down my Haskins lab research experience to my mentees, and they passed it on and so forth. But each first year student is paired with an honors mentor during the summer, like I said, to help them with the transition from high school to college. And so mentors are there to answer any questions from what do they need in the dorms, what's the best place to go in New York City, what do they need to know for their classes, how to get textbooks, and you name it, they know it. Early in the summer, what I'll do is I asked our incoming students for some information, like their major, their minor, the different career choices they might want to do, or their interests. And we ask, what's important to you in a mentor? And we ask the same things for the mentors, and we pair you all together. That way you really get a personalized, individualized experience. And so what the mentors do, they are there to help you get adjusted to the PACE community, the honors community. I send them important information every month from like a PACE and honors level about events that are going on, key things to keep in mind. And they share that information with their mentees. And they kind of want to be able to help each other from in one way or the other. And so we've had students share internships. They get an internship from their mentor. For example, we had a student at Goldman Sachs do that, and they were like, I need to give this internship to my mentee and pass it down the line. We've had students who pass down their jobs or other experiences because they know that honor students can be dependable and that that's something they want to do. And so in these pictures here, you can see on the left side, this is one of our mentoring families, actually Gab's mentoring family with Owen in the back. And so Gab was actually able to extend their family with their mentee in the picture right next to it. And that's actually from one of our events, which I'll have Gab talk about. And then in the last picture with the big group of people, those are my honors mentors from, I think, 2 years ago. And as you can see, they're all smiling, super excited to welcome the incoming students. And it's like this every year. I have a large group of students who are just willing to help you all get to accomplish your goals and so forth. And so that's something really exciting that honors has to offer. I'm going to pass it to Gab so they can share their story.
Thanks, Mohini. So yeah, this is my my mentee lineage, and hopefully in another year we'll have another picture to go alongside with it. But this is, the mentoring program is like really great because as an education major, I knew there were certain things I needed to get on track with, and like that applies to a lot of majors, that I went to Owen and I asked him over the summer, I asked him during the school year. He's still my friend now, but it was like really helpful to have that going in, to be like, I don't want to ask Jackie for everything. I want to ask someone that's my age, someone that's just went through the program the same way. So it's really helpful there. And even one of my mentees, the one in the picture now, isn't in the same major or program as me, but we can still like talk about pace and getting adjusted to the city and things like that. So it's really just like a friend. We go do masks on, socially distanced things together. We'll like see each other on campus. It's also kind of fun that in my building, I'll meet other honor students and I'll say, who's your mentor? Like, it's like a fun, you know, build a web of people that know each other. So it's like just to have this kind of older sibling like person who's in the honors program who might be in the same major or has similar interests and can kind of help you with some of the questions that you have once, and you get to meet them over the summer. So you really have them before you even arrive or school starts, I guess is a better way to put it now. And I will talk about the school of ed. I could talk about the school of ed thing separately, but also I want to touch on that I was actually able to study abroad for about 10 days in January 2020. I went to Hyderabad, India, which was a program that Mohini went on when she was a student a couple years ago. So it was like really great that I could go to Mohini and ask my questions about this. I was like the most prepared person on my trip. I knew exactly what the program looked like. I knew exactly what the itinerary would kind of look like. So it's just like very helpful that it's such a well-rounded experience between your mentor and the advisors. Like you always have that kind of partnership like Bill talked about. And I think now I'm passing it to Siriel to talk about Classic Civ.
So, hi, like I said, my name's Siriel. And when I was a freshman, I was a part of the Classic Civilization Living Learning Community, also just known as Classic Civ. If you look at that top, I'm not sure if right or left picture, that one, yep, that's when we had a toga party with our RA, because the general gist of the entire learning community is about Greek, Roman, and Egyptian mythology and history and English. And Jackie teaches a lot of the classes, which is amazing. And so the benefits of this learning community is, one, you get to have you get to have 4 classes over your entire freshman year with the same group of students. And so you'll be able to really, make friends off of that group. And the people who you can be able to consistently see over your first year. You'll also possibly be on the same honors floor with them in 182 Broadway, which is the building that Gab is an RA in. And alongside that, you get to have Jackie as a professor, which is pretty amazing. She brought us cereal every class because it was a night class, and that was a much needed energy boost. And another benefit is I'm still friends with a lot of my classmates to this day who I had in that learning community. And I'm very happy to be graduating with them next semester. And so going off of that and looking into honors housing, both freshman residence halls have an honors floor. 182 Broadway has 2, one for Classic Civ and then a normal honors floor, and then Maria's Tower also has one. And so on both of these floors, you'll most likely have an honors roommate and honors floor mates, as well as an honors residential assistant or RA, who would be an honors student who has gone through the experience of being in the honors college for at least a year or more, and will be able to answer any of your questions you have about honors, any problems you might have in the residence hall, and they're extremely helpful. So next, passing it on to Victor.
So hey y'all, we talk a lot about honors being a family, and every family needs a home, and that specifically for us is the Honors Lounge, which is on the 2nd floor of Pace. I know right now it's currently closed, but before COVID and everything like that, it was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There was free coffee from 9 to 5, free coffee, tea, and hot chocolate, which is great. There's study rooms that you can reserve, which was really great for getting group projects done. For if you need to take a test online or something like that, you can reserve a room and do it there. So it's really great to have that space. Right now with COVID and everything like that, the lounge is closed, but we tried to recreate that feeling online. So now we have a Discord on specifically for honor students. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a messaging platform similar to like GroupMe or WhatsApp, but with different channels that students can talk about different things in and just get to know each other and really build that community, even if it is online. And even with COVID, we still try to do plenty of things. That's where we host a lot of our honors events on the Discord, but there's clubs on campus that hold different events over Zoom and things like that. And I always recommend our students be part of a club and go go out and join one, especially because a lot of our honors students and our upper level students are on leadership and on e-boards there. And that's really great for your resume and everything like that. So I highly recommend it if you can to join a club and experience those interests and everything like that.
So as Victor mentioned, the elephant in the room is kind of COVID-19. We are, our lounge is closed. We are hoping, especially now with vaccine news, that once that all comes up and we get the clear, we can kind of reopen and go back to having that kind of full home experience and not a virtual experience. But we have still done events in person, socially distanced with masks on, following CDC guidelines. That picture of Gab and their mentee was actually at our Halloween event, where we would let a few students in at a time to dress up, pose with all of the decorations Serial graciously put out to kind of turn our lounge into a sort of like a haunted house. And we had students participating, kind of had the opportunity to participate from online at home too. And students sent in pictures. We had a costume contest where they dressed up and had to have a mask on. And we did that. We also had we've had walking tours. Mohini's walking tours down here in the corner, where they went and got chip cookies, which are amazing and delicious. And I took students into the Lower East Side and Chinatown. And also we kind of did lots of food and other things like that, and went into Buddhist temples and got to see some history. And those are the things we're doing. We're also doing Among Us games for those that are playing. So we haven't kind of stopped the fun. We've just kind of changed it temporarily, and it's giving us ways to kind of be creative. But most importantly, we are still here 24/7 basically for our students. That hasn't changed and that won't change. And our students know that. They have access to us through Discord, through email, through social media. Many of them over time have our cell phones and everything else like that as well. And that is because we are the academic advisors for our students for all 4 years. But it's not just academic advising. We don't just talk classes and say, see you in a couple months when you register again. It's professional advising. It's helping students with their careers. It's helping them with graduate school. It's personal advising. So the breakups, the homesickness, the I can't stand COVID today moments. And that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of make those hopes and dreams and worries, hopes and dreams happen and the worries kind of go away. And helping students with scholarships and still mentoring, and students that is still their favorite part. And we polled our students about how we handled COVID last semester and that abrupt kind of transition everyone went through, and 96% of our students said that we did an amazing job. And that's really that meant a lot to us, and that they still felt, even in that kind of craziness, that they had a home and that we were there for them. So I'm going to transition it to Anna to talk about how to get in.
Thank you. And the most important information that you all came for today is how to apply to the Honors College, right here. So if you apply traditionally with the SAT or ACT, this is what we would like to see. We would like to see minimum high school GPA of 90, and a minimum combined SAT score of 1270, and critical reading minimum score of 570, and math scores of 610. If you're applying with ACT, the minimum has to be 27. Automatically you will be considered for the Honors College. You don't need any separate application. If you choose test optional, then in the application there will be a choice where you have to mark, and then you will be able to answer 2 short essays in addition to the minimum of 90 GPA that you already have. And the 2 short essays on 2 topics. One topic is, if you come to Pace University, what tradition to the Honors College, and you accepted to the Honors College, what tradition would you bring with you? And the second one is a really realistic scenario of you meeting a genie and the genie is willing and able to make your 3 wishes true. So which 3 wishes? No wishing for more wishes, of course, but which 3 wishes would you wish for? So that's how you apply. And well, once you become an honor student, and if you can go to the next slide, please, then there are a couple of things that we would like to see happening before you graduate from the honors college. Number 1 is overall GPA of 3.3. We want to see that happening. And then 8 honors classes, approximately on average 2 per year, with a minimum of B minus. We don't believe in anything that is below B minus. We don't think these grades exist to begin with. The honors classes are not necessarily classes. They are what we call honors experiences. And so this can be an internship. This can be a study abroad. This can be some additional work that you, in interesting project, for example, that you do in a class. This could be your capstone project. There are many different ways of getting this 8 what we call honors classes. And finally, the culmination of your whole career of being an honor student here at Pace University is something that is called honors thesis. Here at Pace, we believe that research is cool and sexy. Hope no one is recording this. Anyway, so the honor thesis is a culmination. It says 25-page research paper on any topic you want, whatever is dear to your heart. And students choose a faculty mentor, and they work with that faculty mentor for the entire year, and they produce something really tangible, something that you can talk to when you're applying for a job and you talk to your employer. When you apply to a grad school, this is a piece that you show to them. And so you graduate from Pace University not just with the education, but also with a tangible piece that you are proud of and that you can show to others and talk about to others. Not all majors do what is called a traditional honor thesis. Of course, if you're in performing art, for example, we want you to do something meaningful. It doesn't have to be a 25-page research paper. It could be a dance, or it could be some research that you've done, and or you can talk about your dance. So there are many different ways of completing what is called the honor thesis. And now we are passing to...
All right, so these are just a couple, yes, a couple frequently asked questions that we get. So the first one, how many students are in the Honors College? We have about 700 to 710, but that includes all 4 classes and our 5-year students, because we don't kick them out right once they finish from their 4th year. We still keep them in our family, but we keep them for family even longer. But you know, once they're at Pace, they're ours. And so for accepting APs, IBs, and college credits, we do accept those. For APs, it needs to be your 4 or 5. IBs, I think it's 4, 5, 6, and then college credits, I think you need to get a certain grade, but all that information is on the PACE website. One thing I will say, by being in the Honors College, we pay very close attention to this process. We work very closely with the transfer credit team to make sure that your credits are transferred and that you're not retaking classes that you already have credit for. Often we've had students even graduate a whole year early because of the credits that they bring in. Next, do you need to have a specific major to be in the Honors College? You do not. We work with all majors and minors and combos. We all, in terms of all the advisors, know how to advise every major and minor, and so we're able to help get that perfect combo for you. And then, do you have to live on the honors floor? You do not need to live on the honors floor, but we highly recommend it. When I was a student, I lived in the honors floor in Maria's Tower, and I just really loved being able to be with like-minded people, exploring the city, doing different experiences, but also like understanding like study time is study time and really getting the best out of our experience. So I think I'm passing it back to Jackie.
One of the other frequently asked questions we get is, where have our honor students worked? Where have they interned? Now, if we were to fully answer that question, you would be here for several hours and we would need a very, very long PowerPoint. We are very proud that our students kind of usually get, if they want to, they usually get into the workforce right away, and most have internships in their freshman year. And so they have a lot of different companies they've worked at. These are just kind of some of the recent ones. And because we have students of all different majors and minors, you'll see all different kinds of companies here. You'll see a lot of entertainment companies because we have a lot of students in performing arts and film. You will see a lot of companies, you will see a lot of government agencies because we do have students that are in criminal justice and political science and cybersecurity. We are very happy we each have different specialties, which Mohini was kind of talking about as advising. And, we're very excited to kind of get our students into these opportunities. For example, the one down here, MITRE, it's a kind of government contract agency for cybersecurity, one of the best, top paying. And we have been lucky enough that they love our cybersecurity honor students that every year we're in talks with them of job offers. And so I think the last 4 years in a row, 4 or 5 years in a row, my students have gotten offers and housing from them. But we have kind of all different things here. Also the top, financial companies for our business people like Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch. And we have the Federal Reserve for our economics students and our Federal Reserve Challenge team. They are usually mostly in the Honors College and normally in non-COVID times meet in our honors space. And they are sort of like our football team, and they compete, and they have beaten Harvard and Yale and Princeton. We're beyond proud of them. And many of them go on to continue at the Federal Reserve. So as I said, a wide range of companies, and we have some like nonprofits as well for students that are interested in that. So we are going to take questions from all of you. I know questions are going on in the chat right now, and I will pull that up myself in a second. But I know also that you probably have questions the second this kind of info session ends that you forgot to ask, or we didn't mention, or we just lightly touched upon. And so you can kind of email us at any time. We are here for you. So our emails are on the page, so you can contact us and let us know that you were here and you had questions. We have our student aides emails as well. As we said, actually, I'm going to have them just one more time remind you of what their majors and minors are in case you have a specific question related to one of those things. So Cyril, you're first. You want to just remind us what your majors and minors are?
Sure. I'm a psychology major with a double minor in women, gender studies, and sociology and anthropology.
And Victor?
I'm a public accounting major in the BBA MBA program, and I have a minor in business analytics. Lubin people, if you want to talk to me.
Gab?
Oh, I forgot. Okay, I'm studying adolescent education with the concentration in history and a minor in psychology. And I think we'll put our information in the chat because it's a lot of words. Yeah.
And for us, for the staff and kind of faculty, I work with, the staff and faculty can answer all of your questions, but in case maybe you want something very specific, I work with the School of Education students and our computer science students with some art and English in there as well. Bill primarily works with our business students, law and history, because he is a non-practicing lawyer. Dr. Shastia has kind of all those social sciences, with economics being her true baby, but she has the political science and all of that as well.
I adopt others as well, okay? I do adopt them.
And Mohini, as she mentioned, she was a science student when she was here. So she has the Sciences, College of Health Professions. She also has Performing Arts and a few other little majors in there. But those are our big ones. But we're all happy to talk to anybody, but we can also get into specifics. So I will leave this up for a second and we'll kind of check on the chat. Feel free to screenshot this or whatever you need. This recording will also be available. So if you missed anything, Most of us are New Yorkers and New Jersey people, so sometimes we talk fast, so you can catch back up. And the missing person of our team tonight is Lindsay Lee right here. And that is because she works with our juniors and seniors and not really our freshmen, though she is teaching a course this semester for our freshmen, but usually juniors and seniors. And she's there to help kind of craft that thesis. And she's also a proud alumna of the Honors College in Pace. So if any questions, like I said, please put them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them.
One thing I'll say about the different internship experiences, and so Pace U Careers on Instagram usually list a lot of different internships and where our students have been. But one thing I think that I wish I knew before going into college is knowing that the different opportunities for internships may not necessarily align with like what you think. So you can think you're going to apply to an internship at a hospital and it's medical related, but it could be IT related, it could be marketing related, it can be management related. And so I think that's one thing, that just knowing that maybe it's not necessarily one company gives you this internships, there may be companies, like every company has some type of marketing aspect to it. So I would definitely say, I'm going to put the Instagram for career services in the chat. Definitely check it out to see what our students have done.
Mohini, there was a question about, I know Bill answered it, but you could probably get more into it since you also had this internship. What are some of the internships for our pre-med students? And Mohini also does the pre-med advising for the Honors College. I don't know if that was said in the chat earlier, but I have, because I wasn't looking at it, but Mohini?
Yeah, so usually our students get a ton of research experiences from PACE, but what was really great about me is when I did a lot of research at PACE, and those sort of count as internship experiences because they want to see that in like medical school applications, since a lot of the things that you're going to be reading in medical school are like research papers. And so that being said, one great thing about honors and Jackie is that we really get to know our students' interests. And so I was really interested in becoming a pediatrician. And so I wanted to work with children. And there was an internship at Bellevue Hospital under the NYU School of Medicine to do like a developmental psychology internship. And so that's something that I did that Jackie recommended to me that just came through just an honors mailbox that I was able to do. But there are internships all over in terms of being able to shadow doctors, volunteer in hospitals. Actually, the more and more I do research on it, the more I see the different opportunities out there. A lot of them have like emergency room volunteers. But the other thing is like you want to kind of get a little bit of everything when you're pre-med because they want to see that you're a person. They want to see that you know how to talk to people as well. And some of those volunteer experiences that are sort of like internships but don't have that name exactly can really attribute to that.
Thank you. So some of the questions I saw, even though I'm seeing some of them are being answered, but I know then I see the same questions being asked again, so it might be easier just for me to say it. One of the questions was, what's the difference between the Carl and Lily Pforzheimer Community Service Scholarship essay and the Pforzheimer Honors College? So we are very grateful to the Pforzheimer family for leaving money for the community service kind of scholarship and for the Honors College, and that's why it's named after them, but they are separate. So you could get the community service scholarship, be a recipient of that, and not be in the Honors College, because that is just based on your community service work that you did in high school, and that will be on the application. For the Honors College to be considered for that, as Dr. Shastia explained, if you've got the GPA and SAT or ACT scores, you're automatically reviewed for it. If not, then on Common App, if you're going the test optional route, you select test optional, and then it will pop up saying, would you like to be considered for, are you interested in applying to the Honors College? And you would hit yes, and then those essays come up. So they're different things. The decision of whether or not you got into the Honors College comes in your decision letter. So it's congrats, the answer is yes, congrats. And then that's like the first paragraph. And then the second paragraph will state, usually, I have not seen this year's decision letters, but usually we're the second paragraph and it states that you got into the Honors College. One of the parents or students said about an unbiased, where can a student get an unbiased opinion on what kind of major? None of us, we tease about Dr. Shastia converting students to economics, but none of us technically are kind of biased. We have students changing majors all the time. None of us, we don't promote when we're talking with our students, are sort of our own classes or anything like that. It's always cute when they're like, I want to take you. I'm like, yay. But it's really what's in the best interests of the student and what they want to do down the line. And it's always a conversation. And sometimes that, you know, I have students in computer science that start to think about, maybe I want law. And my background is not in law, but Bill's is. And so I sort of bring Bill into the conversation and say, hey, look, they're thinking maybe something computer science and law. You know, talk to them about law school, about what you would need. Or we have students that are doing med tech. And so that means they need the medical background. So I'm bringing Mohini into that conversation. And I'm just using examples from students I'm working with, but we all help each other out. We all have a strong network. And it's honestly what's best for the student and what that end goal is. And sometimes we'll also have very real conversations with maybe their end goal doesn't match their major. And a lot of work we do with our students, especially in University 101, is having them kind of take a look and do a self-assessment. And a lot of them change their major and change their major multiple times, and that is fine. It's what they should be happy with at the end of the day, and you know what gives them satisfaction and joy. And internships and things like that are also a way to kind of play. I see question for hospitality and tourism major and things like that. We actually, one of the faculty work very closely with, Dr. Coggins, that's his specialty, and he works with our business students in their first year as a University 101 instructor, and often as a thesis advisor in the senior year as well. And that is his specialty. He's often quoted in articles anytime anything about hospitality and tourism comes up, in particular the cruise line industry. But we have, in kind of non-COVID times, most of our hospitality and tourism majors do the Disney program. We're very lucky that our students get accepted into that prestigious program, the Disney College program, every year. We actually have a Disney themed room in our honors college where they take their interviews and everything else. And so they're working for Disney. They're also might be working for hotels. A lot of the tourism, if they're more concerned with tourism, will do the study abroad internships and study abroad and then do an internship while abroad. It honestly depends what the student wants to do. And for our job on everyone in this call is to match them with an appropriate professor that has that background. And so that's what, if in that case, Bill would be the one working with the student and try to find a professor that has their specific background. And even, for example, for history, Bill and I are both historians. But if you're the ancient stuff, you're coming, to me. If you're the U.S. history and kind of the Constitution and all that, the early America, you're coming to Bill. And so we all have different specialties to mentor students.
This is something that I hear from my residents and other people who come to PACE and other schools is like, what's pretty cool about honors is like, this is a staff, you're like looking at us right here. I'm in Jackie's cohort, I will be with Jackie unless I significantly change my major and then I have to and then I work with another advisor, but it's the same advisor for all 4 years, 99% of the time, which I think is pretty unique to like our program, and other colleges don't always have that. So it's something to think about, what's special about honors.
Thanks, Gab. And that's really why we get to know our students so well, because they spend so much time with us. That's why they become like family. And we get to know, we tease that we have an extended, the boyfriends, the girlfriends, the parents, the siblings. I have one student right now, my University 101, who has a twin. I know his twin very well. She doesn't even attend PACE, but she's part of it because he lives at home, and so she's always hopping on the Zooms too, and so she feels like she's part of that, and that's what's kind of special and what we want to try to make those hopes and dreams. And that's also how we can write really good letters of recommendation for our students, because we know them so well in multiple capacities.
This may be odd for a professor to say, but I'll say it anyway. The vast majority of what you learn in college is outside of the classes. It is how to make and build yourself and your life for the next 50 years or so. And so, to quote Mark Twain, don't let the individual classes get in the way of your education.
We are so happy that you were able to join us tonight or this afternoon or very late at night, depending where you are in the world. And we appreciate that you gave up some time to spend with us. And we hope to see you in the spring, maybe virtually at our conversion events, and then hopefully in person maybe in the summer and the fall. And we're here if you need anything. But thank you again.